Welcome to It's Your Date with Destiny with Apostle Vivian and Pastor Jemma Duncan of Divine Destiny Worship Center in Diego Martin. For the next 30 minutes, join us as we take you on a journey of maximizing your potential and realizing your goals through Jesus Christ.
A very good morning to you. Welcome to Ask Pastor Jemma. I'm happy that you have joined me this morning, and we have a very important topic to discuss that affects a whole lot of people. If you're a first-time viewer, my name is Jemma Duncan, and I'm married to Apostle Vivian Duncan, and together we pastor Divine Destiny Worship Center. Our headquarters is in Diego Martin, opposite Sardonyx Drive on the Diego Martin Main Road. And we have branches in Shogunas. We have one in San Grande, one in Faizabad, a branch in Tobago, and a branch in Antigua. If you call our number, scroll across, then you will get information as to how you can get to us. This morning, the topic is, my wife and I have separated. I have tried numerous times to reconcile, but her mother is standing as a wall between us. She even prevents me from seeing my children. What can I do? Now, I mean, you know that happens a whole lot. And I want to start off by saying every time I hear about separation or divorce, whether I know the persons or not, it saddens me. I don't like to hear that people separate. I know it's a reality. I know it will happen. It has always happened. And so on, and it will continue to happen. That's life. But I just want to say it saddens me. Simply because, in my own little way, I believe that if two persons together decide that they want to work on the issues that they have in their marriage, I believe it could work. But one hand can't clap, as the old people say, and usually that is ultimately the problem, that there is one person who seems a little more inclined to want to work towards reconciliation than the other person, and that is where it falls down. I know sometimes some relationship will reach a place where it just can't be fixed, and well then, you know, what can we do about it? I want you to know, I want you to start off by putting yourself in your mother-in-law's place. You probably need to understand how she's thinking. I didn't have all the details as to what happened to create this separation, to cause it. And I know that there is no one party to blame. Everybody has to take some kind of responsibility for what happened. But based on what may have gone down, you could understand why your mother-in-law feels like that. Where she feels now as if she has to step in and not only protect her daughter from you, but her grandchildren as well. And there may be real cause for her behavior. Notwithstanding that, I can't say that I give that mother-in-law the right to stand between you and her daughter, you and your wife, and prevent you from seeing your children. By law, you have the right to see your children. And one would hope that it doesn't reach the stage where you have to go by way of the law, because right now it's just a separation. And based on what you've said here, you're seeking reconciliation. All right, so how do we start this whole scenario? Well, may I tell you that it's going to be a long, hard climb uphill for you. Because it's not only your wife you have to deal with her mother. And obviously, this mother has a lot of influence over her daughter. First to begin, you have to have God's help. And you have to realize that if you're going to at all get your foot in the door, if there's going to be a crack in the door for you, that you have to determine that things are going to be different. Because if at all you get this opportunity, and I'm praying that you do, if you fail this opportunity, chances are you will never get the next one based on what we're seeing here. So because many people want reconciliation, but they don't want to change their behavior. You know, they just want to be reconciled. But if you are reconciled and you keep doing the same things that you did that created the separation in the first place, guess what's going to happen? That there is going to be a subsequent separation. And at that point, your wife might be convinced, well, you know what, it makes no sense trying. So you yourself, perhaps before you even consider the reconciliation, may need counseling on your own. And allow the counselor to give you a strategy for how to deal with this whole situation. I often say, both on radio and TV, that the few minutes that I have with you is not enough counseling for you for when it comes to life-altering situations. All I want to do is stimulate you to think in a particular way, but usually I have to go to get counseling beyond me. So what do? Go and sit before a counselor. Now, let me tell you, if you're sitting in front of somebody like me, let me tell you what I demand from the persons who sit in front of me. Be honest. Now, if you come before me and you do not believe that you could really trust me with your information, I am not the person that you should be talking to. Because you're going to have to trust that individual with the information. And from time to time, and just recently it happened, this person comes to me for counseling, and I could tell that that person not giving me the information. You know, you're skirting around and thing. And I said to the individual, you know what, I don't hear long. What does he really want to tell me? Because, you know, you're trying to get, for me to convince me that you should take a certain action. But the information you're giving me is not enough for you to take that action. So there must be something else there. And finally the person started to talk. I say, you're now talking. This is an old fox you're dealing with. Talk to me. You know what I mean? So if you're going to go to a counselor, especially in a situation as seriously as this one, where you really want to get over a formidable hurdle, as your mother-in-law is, to try to fight for reconciliation, go to this counselor and be honest. I'll tell you when I know that somebody's not honest when they come in front of me, especially when it comes to husband and wife. You talk for about half an hour and you never said anything that you did wrong. And all you come and tell me is what your wife doing wrong or what your husband doing wrong. You're not ready for counseling. Because the person who is ready for counseling will start by saying, I did this. And probably won't even start to tell me anything much about the wife or the husband. Because they want to try, they're ready. And when people come to me and they start to tell me about themselves, I say, good, you're ready. Because you're honest. And I remember a gentleman sat down in front of me and he sat down and he said, Pastor, I ain't lying to tell you, I just cushy. I tell myself, I could deal with him. Because he start off, he say, I know you're a pastor. He doesn't come to church. He say, but let me tell you, and he started to tell me, he say, I know she just aggravates me, and I know she just pushed me to do it, but let me tell you. And this gentleman, I know, really wants help because he's saying, this is it. I'm putting my cards on the table. You need to start there. Go somewhere where you can trust that person. Ask God in your own little way to guide you to somebody who you can trust and you can actually tell them the truth about what has happened. Let that person counsel you and then formulate a strategy to now decide where we're going. Now let me tell you, the first person you have to deal with is the mother-in-law. I would suggest that you start off with your mother-in-law. After you've been counseled and you prayed for and you pray and all, and ask God to help you deal with the mother-in-law. And you're going to have to be very humble when you go to your mother-in-law. She is going to be angry. She might be rude. She might be insulting. And let me tell you something. I don't know what to tell you to do, but if there's anything you could do to help not to talk, don't talk. I know they say when you eat peanut butter, you can't speak. Maybe when you go to see mother-in-law, take a spoonful of peanut butter and put it in your mouth. So, no matter what she says, you can't talk because it's going to have to be something like that where you're going to have to subject yourself based on that person because she's probably just waiting to tell you everything. So you cannot be angry. You can't go and decide, well, you're locking horns with her. she is going to be the one who will determine where you all go with this relationship. So I will start with mother-in-law. So go to mother-in-law and hear her out. After mother-in-law is finished venting, which she would, I'm sure, then the next thing is you humbly apologize to mother-in-law and try to convince her that you really want to change. Tell mother-in-law that you've been taking counseling on your own, and even ask the counselor, if it is possible, to give mother-in-law his or her phone number to convince mother-in-law, because you really need somebody on your side. You know, like sometimes your lawyer brings a character witness, so you will need the counselor. And it would be nice if mother-in-law has respect for the counselor. It could be if it's some pastor she likes or she knows, and pastor call her and say, well, you know, your son-in-law has been coming to me, and give him a little chance, give him a hearing. That would be good, right? So you're going to try to convince her. Finally, hopefully you're going to get a chance to meet with your wife. They should allow you to spend some time with the children. At least pass and pick them up, you know, and tell her, please, you know, I know, well, all this went down and whatever, I'm sorry about it, but please, I need to spend a little time with my children. I want that. And so I believe you should be allowed to see your children. Now, when coming to your wife, Mr. Man, let me tell you, you have to start all over again. You are in the doghouse at this particular point. How do you start again? So you're going to start by dating your wife. Don't try to tell her come home now, because she must come home on her own terms. So you start by dating. And when you, on your initial date or dates, the same thing that happened to you and mother-in-law might happen to you and your wife. She's going to vent. She'll ask you all kind of things. She will be confrontational, you know. And again, take the peanut butter and say, excuse me, give me 1 minute. Take a dip, put some peanut butter in your mouth, and, and listen. Try to look pleasant, you know, in this whole exercise. And I can tell you it's possible, because when I was growing up, and your parents or grandparents, but what my grandparents at the time, no matter what they tell you, you try to look pleasant. If you didn't look pleasant, you would be slapped. I mean, listen to me, because they consider that as dumb insolence. Now, I ain't say you're saying nothing. You ain't talking. But based on how your face look, they call it dumb insolence. And for dumb insolence, you could lose a teeth or two. You know what I mean? So, you know, so try hard not to say anything. So if she wants a vent during that period of time, say nothing. If she is silent, and some people, they wouldn't talk, you know, because she doesn't trust you. She's very wary of what you will do. Just leave it alone. Don't complain and say, well, you know, I take you out and you don't want to talk. Just be happy. Eat the meal. Maybe it might be a short meal, and so on, and drop her home and say, you know, thank you for coming out with me. I do appreciate it. It might not have been the best experience that you had, but thank her. And say, you know what, I'm looking forward to you. Please come out with me again. So you're not even trying to tell her, I want you to come home yet, or I insist that you come home yet. All you're saying is, you know, give me a chance just to spend some time with you, right? And woo your wife. I would suggest that you continue the counseling, and every time you and your wife go out, then you go back to the counselor and talk about what happened. You know, is she softening up a little bit? You know, if when you're not accustomed opening the car door and you try to open the car door, she hit you with the door, don't say nothing. You know, pretend you didn't understand what just happened there. And leave the lady alone, you know. And finally, you're coming out of the car, okay, she let you open the door and you try to hold her hand and she hit your hand off or something, don't say anything. That means she's not ready to hold hands just yet. So don't hold the hand. If when the door accidentally bounces you, that means that she don't want you to open the door, you know. So you have to be patient, look for all these signs and go back to the counselor and get some courage to go back. I'm saying all of this because if you really want this relationship, this is what is going to be. And that's your chance. Now, the good thing would be if you are allowed to take your children out. And what you need to do is to ensure that you do not try to influence the children in one way or the other. When you and your children are out, let it just be bonding time between father and children. Avoid asking questions. Even when they ask you something, be very careful how you word your responses, and don't ascribe blame in one way or the other. Even when they try to tell you stuff, keep it to a minimum, because they may be asked, what did you tell daddy? And it might look as though you're trying to get information from them, which you're not. All that you need to do is spend quality time with your children. When you do that, if that whole experience is enjoyable for them, then they are going to be on your side. They're going to be insistent that mommy allows them to be with you, and they're going to be on her case as to why she doesn't want to spend time with you. Good. So let's see. If at all you succeed in all of this, you start to seek counseling together, and then you start dating and so on. When you reach that stage, even in that whole process of we going back out together, then we go into the counselor and we getting feedback as to what is happening during those sessions, because we're going to go back and talk about how well you got along and so on. And I'm going to tell you the 3 most important things that you need to do when you are with your wife. Number 1, listen. Number 2, listen. Number 3, listen. You just need to listen. And listen and hear. You have to hear what that person is saying, because many times we listen and we're not hearing because you want to counter with your own little point of view. You are the one in the doghouse as it is now, so you need to just listen. Maybe you need to jot down some stuff that perhaps the counselor could talk about, could deal with, based on what happens when you are not talking. Right? Remember, every time you tend to want to do it, remember your peanut butter, just ask for an excuse. Take a bathroom break and put some peanut butter in your mouth, right? So you can't say anything. Now, in your listening, you're going to be preparing yourself to make adjustments, because when you hear what she is saying, you have to be a person who is willing to make adjustments. You can't come off and say, well, this is who I am, this is how I've always been, and so on. It's not going to work for you, right? What do you want to hear? What do you want to know? And in what areas are you going to make adjustments? You want to find out what are the needs of your wife, what really are her needs. And a good counselor will also help you when the counselor gets both of you together to help her to understand what your needs are. Don't try to impress on her what your needs are. Leave that to the hands of a skilled counselor who will be able to talk to her, talk to both of you, and she may be more inclined to listen to what the counselor is saying than what you are saying at this time. So what are the needs? And I'm going to just quickly tell you what are the needs, and it's out there. Everybody, most people understand that. They say most people in relationships, whether it's a child, an adult, it doesn't matter what is the area of relationship, much more in family, we have 5 basic needs. Number 1, the need is for words of encouragement. Sometimes all the other person hears from you is when something goes wrong. For example, your wife cooks all the time, and the food generally will taste good, and you don't say thanks, you wouldn't compliment her and say, well, this food tastes good. But the day it's salty, then is when you comment and say, this is salt. You know, or you use a sarcastic remark. You know, you want me to get high blood pressure or something like that. No, that's not the way to go, right? Because, you know, the average person, when you start to cook the next meal, those words come back to you. You know, so use words of encouragement. And when you do, when you make it a practice of encouraging words, then even when you will tell me something that's not right, I will take it, because it's like my husband likes to say, you're giving me half an orange with the castor oil, so it's easy for me to take it. Use words of encouragement. You know, don't let everybody else tell your wife she's looking good. All around you. 2 of you going out, and everybody, all your friends saying, oh God, your woman looking good, boy, you're taking good care of she, and that kind of thing. You know, and they teasing her in front of you, hey, you're taking good care of the woman, and that kind of thing. And she is not enjoying that experience, because you would think that she will be happy when everybody else thinks she's looking good, and she's saying, but I left home with him. He didn't even watch me. And then the whole world telling you how good she looks, and you smiling. You know what I mean? And she is upset, you know, and you can't quite understand. As soon as she gets in the car, it becomes an issue, you know. Words of encouragement, you know. Number two, women and children spell love Time. If you're going to make an adjustment there, you're going to have to spend quality time with your wife. Now, let me help you here. Based on my years of experience, quality time is not being in the house. When women say quality time, it means two of us alone. Quality time don't mean in the yard, cleaning it. We appreciate the fact that some men keep a lovely yard. God bless you. We appreciate the fact that if you are Mr. Fixer-Upper, so you're always in the house fixing something. But that is not time with me. Time with me is 5 minutes when we spend drinking coffee together, sitting down somewhere. Time with me is for those who are so inclined when you watch a movie together, and some people, my husband don't like movies, he finds a waste of time, and I don't like wrestling because I don't find it a sport. So two of us have a little issue there in terms of time, but put aside that, that's not our best fit, so we're going to have to find another way to spend time together. You have to have just two of you alone, where for a short time, it doesn't have to be a lot of time, but put aside time. What about gifts? Some people love gifts, and you're going to have to become somebody who will woo her with gifts. No, it has to be, if you're going to buy gifts, then think through the gifts you're going to buy. You have to know what color your wife likes. You decide to buy a gift, but you just tell the lady, I want to buy something for my wife, pick something now. Well, she's going to know that somebody has picked it because it's going to be the wrong color, and it might not be quite what she would want. So remember I told you, listen, listen, listen. If you listen, 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 and observe, you will realize that she says certain things. You'll check the wardrobe and you'll see the inclination. How many, she has plenty red stuff or plenty black things or black and white or something so, and then you get a sense of what that person likes, right? And when you go out with her and you all are walking and is the mall or a showroom or something, so see what she comments about. See what are the things that cause her to light up. She passed this one, she say, hey, let me go inside and look at something. And you realize what she's looking at, you're looking at that, and that would be interesting. So even if you're buying a gift, make sure it's something that she likes, something that she appreciates, and something that will cause her to say, wow, he listens to me, or he pays attention to me. What about service? We talk about service. Service means little things that you do for her, just for her, little things, nice little things that you do. For example, your wife may have to go to collect something. That means she has to maybe come back from work and go back outside to pick it up, and you decide you'll pick it up on the way. That's nice. She didn't ask you to pick it up, but you did it. Or maybe she has to go to something and you say, you know what, go ahead, I'll cook the meal this evening. Cooking may mean hot dog for the children, but that's fine. But that shows a sense of sensitivity to the individual. So there are those things. So we talk about words of encouragement, we talk about time, we talked about gifts, we talked about service. What did I say, 5? I'm not sure if I covered all, right. And so you're listening, and I'm closing now. So you're listening to find out what are the needs of this person. And even in the limited time that you spend together, you try to meet those needs. No, I don't want you to go overboard, because if you go overboard, she will think you're just doing it for no. So kind of balance it nicely. Don't overdo, Take it easy. Kind of ease yourself into that kind of a change of behavior. But commit to changing permanently. Don't do this just for this period where you're trying to reconcile. If you do that, and after a while, not long after, you slip back into your usual behavior, then it's not going to be very good for you. This may just be your last chance. So I really hope I helped you. And because you reached out to me, I believe that you really want to do something about a change in a relationship, or trying to mend a relationship. And even those of you who didn't ask me, but you are in a similar situation, you may not have been separated, but the truth is some people separate and they're still in the same house. And all of us know when that happens. We already know there's a problem in this marriage, there's a problem in the relationship. And we don't have to wait until one person
I need you to take control, 'cause I tried, Lord, tried it on my own, but what I found is I can't make it on my own, on my own. I can't make it, hey, I can't make it on my own, on my own. I can't make it, I can't make it. Everybody sing it. Tell me, what can I do? 'Cause I can't live alone. I can't live without you. Lord, we're desperate for you. We're desperate for you. So tell me, what can I do? 'Cause I can't live. I can't live without you. Everybody sing it. Lift it up and say, let's lift it up to the Lord. Let's sing it out loud. Say,
And I don't want you to ever forget that with God, everything is possible. God bless you real good.